Hey everybody, it's Sam with Wrestling Overtime and your news and updates. I know that most of you have been sitting at home or having to go to work and deal with this coronavirus pandemic that we've got going on. So I want to assure you guys that I'm going to try to up my podcast episodes greatly and do some special things for you guys to be able to listen to at work or on your drives. So make sure that you are subscribing to the podcast and make sure that you are checking the details of what each podcast episode is going to be about, because you guys may want to listen to something on a specific topic that you enjoy. I want to start off, obviously, hating on the fact that we are having this coronavirus pandemic, and that WWE has made some decisions today that I'm sure that most of you have already heard. WWE has decided not to cancel WrestleMania. They are going to have it April 5th at 7 p.m. and it's going to be on the WWE network at the Performance Center. They have moved the Tampa show to the Performance Center. At this time, not real sure, since it was just made today, what exactly they are going to be doing for WrestleMania. I know one of the things that all of us love and enjoy about WrestleMania is the fact, all the pomp and circumstance and celebrities and a lot of the different things that make WrestleMania so special, especially having unbelievable matches. So I hope that in the next couple weeks that WWE Creative and Vince and whoever else is out there that can make this show totally off the rails actually does that. I hope that we have some awesome matches. I hope we get some swerves that we never saw coming, that we get some new storylines that we've always wanted but didn't know we wanted. I hope that WWE really goes all out for this. However, I don't know that I should have that hope. WWE also made the announcement today that they did cancel the Hall of Fame ceremony and NXT TakeOver. I am hoping that they will continue with the NXT TakeOver storylines and kind of build them up and not end them all, just one night on Wednesday night. I hope that gradually, maybe each week, we get some storylines that go further and some storylines that actually end or take us down a different path. I am definitely not ready for the Ciampa Gargano storyline to end. I am not ready for Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole to end or anything like that. So I'm kind of glad that they're kind of putting that takeover off just a little while and going to, continue those storylines. As for the Hall of Fame ceremony, I usually don't watch it. I usually watch clips of it after the fact, or watch when someone puts up highlights, or I listen to a podcast that tells me about the highlights, because I just can't sit still for that period of time. I look for them to take the Hall of Fame ceremony and maybe have it at SummerSlam when all of this kind of dies down. I have to give some big props, though, to Cody and Chris Jericho. They came out with special t-shirts. They are not AEW shirts. They are their own shirts about the coronavirus, and they're up at Pro Wrestling Tees. Please go look at those and buy those. They are donating profits from those to charity dealing with coronavirus and trying to help those in need. For those of you who didn't hear, Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions new episode was released with Bret Hart, and I absolutely love Bret the Hitman Hart. I feel like he is almost always real, and he doesn't care to tell you what he thinks. He talked about how all he tried to do every time he went out was give us a classic to go in, Vince McMahon's library. And I was a little shocked, though, that he talked about Goldberg being one of the most unprofessional wrestlers in the business. Yes, I know that Goldberg gave him a career-ending concussion, and I agree with Bret Hart that he should never forget that and everything, but he is still calling Goldberg out to this day. And I guess the reason why it shocks me is that WWE didn't edit that out. Bret the Hitman Hart says, quote, Goldberg was the most dangerous guy to work with. He hurt everyone he worked with, unquote. He talked about how Goldberg on house shows legitimately would hurt the wrestlers that he worked with night in, night out, the bruises and bangs and injuries that they had to deal with. And with Goldberg, wrestling a match at WrestleMania, and them just have brought him back from, the Saudi Arabia show, I can't believe that the WWE didn't edit that out. I also can't believe that if so many wrestlers feel this way, why are they letting Goldberg continue to wrestle? Because I'm telling you, he's not getting any better. And if he is really injuring people, I mean, we all know and saw his match with Undertaker over in Saudi Arabia and how awful that was. I mean, they might want to put an end to this. Anyway, Pro Wrestling Insider stated that Jeff Cobb is not coming back to AEW, according to their sources. He has decided to continue his own schedule. He doesn't want to be tied down to any kind of company or anything like that. For those of you who are looking for something a little funny in this time of need that so many of us are going through, CM Punk tweeted out today, for those of you who didn't see it, that he was glad that WrestleMania was happening in the Performance Center with no audience because, the audience would not be chanting his name during Roman Reigns' entrance and while he was taking on a match. And I, for one, think that is hilarious because I, as most of you know who've been listening to episodes, am not a big Roman Reigns fan. I do, however, think that some WWE superstars, I would love it if somebody like Randy Orton would get a crew together and go sit out in the audience, however, and chant CM Punk's name during the WrestleMania show so that Roman Reigns does feel at home. I think that would be hilarious. Tony Khan announced today that AEW's Dynamite will be live every Wednesday until April 15th on TNT, that they will be doing it on a closed set. They have had to cancel everything up until April 15th. I'm sure the longer this goes on, the more shows that they will have to cancel and have to decide then whether they're going to continue them on a closed set or not. Loved that Impact Wrestling came out today and stated that they were paying their wrestlers despite having to cancel events like Lockdown and their Twitch special that they were planning. So at least that gives some wrestlers money to, continue doing what they're so good at. For those of you who are looking for other wrestling to watch, to see, I know we were just getting used to having wrestling pretty much every night except for, I guess, Thursday. We were getting some kind of wrestling. I am putting up on Wrestling Overtime Facebook page any time that I can find out that wrestlers are releasing matches, whether it's on their websites, whether it is on YouTube. I am trying to put up as many links as I can find. If any of you want me to promote those, put them out on Twitter, put them out on Wrestling Overtime's Facebook page, write me at wrestlingovertime@gmail.com. I will put those up. I know Independent Wrestling TV is releasing some of their matches for free on their website. I have that link up on, like I said, Wrestling Overtime's Facebook page. For Twitter, if you get on Wrestling Overtime's Twitter account, I am retweeting when they put those links out as I find them out. So that hopefully will give some of you a wrestling fix. I loved that Joey Janela tweeted out today that any indie wrestlers that are making a living off of indie wrestling, if they need help, that he is here for them. He'll do his best to try to help them however he can. That makes me feel so much better about Joey Janela. I know that many of you out there just love him. I have only known of him, though, since he got started with AEW. I didn't follow him in indie wrestling, so I was impressed with his Jon Moxley match and what he went through in that match, but I need to look up now some of Joey Janela's wrestling, because just because he put that out there, he has impressed me so much with that. So I am going to be looking up some Joey Janela wrestling matches coming soon. For those of you who didn't see or haven't heard, Dark Side of the Ring is coming back. On March 20th, they will be showing Season 1 all over again on the Vice channel, or I believe on Vice.com, or Viceland.com. I need to look that up and make sure. I will put that up on Wrestling Overtime's Facebook page. But for those of you who haven't seen it, you definitely need to check out Season 1. For those of you who are like me and fell in love with Season 1 because it told stories in a great way, some stories I didn't even know about, some that were before my time or that I thought were just kind of rumors that I had heard but hadn't had the time to research and explore or anything like that. I absolutely love Season 1. They announced today Season 2 subjects, and they are going to have Season 2 subjects like Dino Bravo, Herb Adams, The Brawl for All, New Jack, Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, David Schultz, Jimmy Snuka, and the Road Warriors. I am really looking forward to what they have to say and how they portray the Road Warriors, because those were two of my childhood favorites. I absolutely was a huge Road Warrior fan. So can't wait to see this. Season 2 starts March 24th, and I believe they are starting with a 2-part episode on Chris Benoit, and I am definitely looking forward to see how they cover that. The Crippler Crossface was one of the first wrestling moves that I wanted to perform on my cousin. So definitely I'm looking forward to how they portray him. And if they have did any extensive research into what came out of Chris Benoit's brain study as far as him having concussions and his CTE evaluation at his autopsy, and finding out that he had a brain of, I believe, an 85-year-old man that possibly had dementia. I'm interested in seeing, what they find out about that. But that's what I have right now for news and updates. As things come clear later, I will be giving you news and updates as quick as I can. Even if it's just a short one. But for right now, I encourage you guys to go and buy merchandise, especially of any independent wrestler that you follow. Most have their own websites and are selling merch, and that's how they're getting money this day. A lot of wrestlers are up on Pro Wrestling Tees and selling their merch that way. But I encourage all of you to go look up your favorite wrestler and buy their merch, because that's how they can stay afloat through this time. And again, as always, you can find me at overtime@gmail.com, or hit me up on Wrestling Overtime's Facebook or Twitter page and tell me what's going on. I am available to you guys at any time for any questions, comments, problems, or protests, and I will talk to you guys soon.